this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And y'all, I came in to talk about the impeachment hearing today. And I hope I don't get so caught up in this that I'm talking for a long time, y'all. But it turned out the way we all anticipated that it would. We knew that those Republican senators were too scared of Trump and too worried about losing their seats in the Senate to vote against him. But when I was watching it, I was thinking about the words of the Constitution or the oath that they took to the Constitution, where in it they are asked to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and its people. Today, that did not happen. What they did is they protected Donald Trump and they protected their seats in the Senate. Now, I guess we could take solace in this. He is going to be the only president in American history that has been impeached twice. The hearing that they've been having the past few days was not to impeach him because he's already been impeached twice. It was to ensure that he's never able to run again and also to hold him accountable for what happened on January 6th, the insurrection. Now, the vote, after they got finished voting today, it came out to be 57 guilty and 43 not guilty. But the thing is, they needed 67 for the Senate to impeach him, and they only got 57. Now, of those 57, 50 were Democrats, and 7 Republicans actually listened to everything, and their conscience couldn't let them let this go. So they voted with the Democrats, and that's how we got the 57 votes. Now, there are a couple things that I noticed about this trial. Now, y'all know that Trump done burned his bridges with practically every law firm across the United States. So he couldn't really find reputable constitutional attorneys to represent him. Y'all know a few days before this trial actually started, he had another group of attorneys that were a little bit more equipped to go up against that House impeachment team, but they all quit. And the reason why they quit is because Trump wanted them to still keep talking about that he lost the election, and they weren't willing to do that. So the entire legal team quit. Kudos to them. The team that he had now, that one guy who got up there and acted like he was so upset over everything, he is actually a personal injury attorney. Now think about what he was tasked to do. He's a personal injury lawyer. So that means like if you have a car accident or you're having a problem at work and you need a lawyer to represent you because you've been hurt at work, he's the type of lawyer that you would go get. So he's not steeped in the Constitution. His background is not in the Constitution. Barack Obama was a constitutional professor. He taught it, you know? So this guy was outmatched. And also, he fell on the side of a person that had incited an insurrection. So he was defending the indefensible. And he got up there and talked in circles, never really addressed, the situation at hand with what happened on January 6th. It was so bad, the defense, that I couldn't even really watch it, y'all. I I turned away so much that I can't even say that I watched all of it. because his righteous indignation was aggravating me when we know that Trump incited that riot. We know that he gave marching orders to his base, his cult, and they went there that day in direct response to what he did. Okay? Now, something about this trial that, I needed them to make this very clear because at the end of the trial, after they voted and everything was done and sealed and all of that, Mitch McConnell got up and spoke. And I was sitting here thinking the audacity, the hypocrisy of them. Mitch McConnell got up and said, that's the turkey neck Republican. He got up and said that the Democrats were right, that Trump did incite it, that those people were there under direct order of Trump. It was a disgrace, blah, 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 blah. So basically, he was agreeing with everything that those impeachment lawyers had laid out. But he says the reason why the Republicans that voted to acquit did so was because it was based on the constitutionality of it. That now this is according to the Republicans that voted to acquit. That according to the Constitution, that they could not, impeach a president that had already left office. Now, there's a couple things about that. When the articles of impeachment were brought to the Senate, it was back in January, before the inauguration. They asked, could Mitch McConnell bring back the Senate so they could get started on the trial? He delayed it. He did not want to do it before the inauguration. So the very thing that he's saying is the reason why they couldn't, in good conscience, vote guilty. They're saying it's because you can't impeach a president that's already left. Well, if they had done it when the Democrats brought it to them before the inauguration, then he would have still been in office. They could have at least started it. And think about this. The second thing, he was impeached while he was still in office. Because remember, the House voted to impeach him. He has been impeached twice. So this whole argument that Mitch McConnell got up and said, I was sitting there thinking, has he been drinking? Does he not think we remember as the American people that it was because of him that they didn't start the trial while Trump was still in office before the inauguration? We sat and watched him say that he was going to wait to after the inauguration, which now we know why, because they were going to use this defense. He's out of office. Why are we trying to impeach him? They are so freaking hypocritical, and the damn audacity of them. You know, the damn audacity of them. Now, another thing that bothered me, and this bothered me the entire time that Trump was in office. Y'all know how when we were in school, we learned that there were three branches of government: the executive, the judicial, the legislative. Okay, the executive, that's the president. The judicial would be the court systems, the Supreme Court. And the legislative would be Congress, the House and the Senate. They are co-equal branches of government, meaning that the president is not supposed to be more powerful than the courts. The courts are not supposed to be more powerful than the Congress. And, they're equal. But under Mitch McConnell, turkey neck, the legislative branch of government, meaning the House and the Senate, they caved to Donald Trump. They gave up their equal power to him. They could have stopped him. Something that we have been saying as Americans, they could have stopped him in a lot of shit he did because they were equal to him. But because he was part of their party and they were trying to hold on to power as well as their seats, they put party over country. Y'all have been hearing this the last 4 years that the Republicans under Trump put party, power, and their seats above the American people. And y'all, that's what happened today. But today was like the most blatant display of it. Another thing that really, really bothers me as an American, we go around the world and we preach to other nations, other countries about democracy. And, we try to get them to believe that we are this shining light, this beacon on the hill. And we constantly keep our nose in other people's affairs, other countries' affairs, telling them what to do and what not to do. When they are going through these violent coups, like what happened on January 6th, we stand back, wagging our finger at them. We're the great America. You need to follow our example because we are the greatest nation in the history of the world. Well, today, y'all, that shit went out the window. That shit went out the window. Because as I sat there and listened to those senators vote after everything, I watched everything that those impeachment lawyers put on. Like I said in my video the other day, we had all seen little bits and pieces of all the stuff that led up to January 6th. But we had not ever really seen it put together in a timeline with his tweets, different things that were happening, seen it all together in one presentation. We already knew we really didn't need that, but to see it put together, you know, if I was one of those Republican senators, I would have been thinking about generations to come and what my legacy was, you know? And I would not want to be written up in the history books when they put the names of the senators who voted to bar him forever holding office again and to hold him accountable. I would have wanted to be on the side of the list where I voted guilty. You know, I voted guilty. It's sad that the vote was, what was it, 57 to 43, but they actually needed 67 because they did get the majority. But I think they have to get 3/3 of the 100 senators that are, voting. They had to get 3/3 of it. So they didn't. 67, according to them, is a third. Y'all, 3/3. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It's just sad because the world watched us today. First of all, they watched us on January 6th implode from within. Then they watched the lead up to this impeachment trial. And basically, the lead up to what happened on January 6th, they watched it build. And then they watched us today as a country let this man off for what he did. And they also understand, just like we as the American people do, that the only reason why he was let off is because of power. Power. The senators are scared of his base and they're scared of losing their seat in the Senate. And also, they're afraid of him. And then, after everything was over, you know, all the networks that weighed in, y'all know he's banned from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. He's banned everywhere. But he was still able to get a message out that this was all a witch hunt. And basically, he said that we'll be hearing more from him. You know, that we'll be hearing more from him. Now that he's, the Republicans have stood with him, we can expect to hear more from him. So if the Republicans thought that they were done with him, according to him, they're not. And also, this means that he can run in 2024. And they sit up and talk about how old Biden is. Biden, to me, looks more fit than Trump. Now, I know Biden is a couple years older than Trump. It's not like Trump is 10 years younger than Biden. I think Biden is 2 to 3 years older than Trump. But if you look at body wise, Biden is more fit. Remember, he was jogging around the White House with Barack. His body is leaner. He ain't a fat fuck sitting around eating McDonald's and Burger King and KFC and shit. you know? And it's almost like his supporters believe that Biden is slow with it. He's a stutterer. He has to think about what he's saying before he talks so he doesn't stutter. I raised a stutter when my son was little. He used to stutter. I did a video on this and how a stutterer learns not to stutter. Because when they get nervous or they get anxious, that stuttering can creep back in, even though they've conquered it, which took them years to do. Stressful situations can make it creep back in to their conversation. So they feel it coming on, so they slow down their talking. They think about what they're going to say before they say it. They actually picture what they're going to say and then slowly let it out so as not to stutter. It's a process for them. And all of that is going on in their head before the words actually come out their mouths. So when they think that Biden is slow, he's a very intelligent man, much more intelligent than this fool that left office. Y'all, today, it just solidified to me that America is in no position to be talking about nobody else, no other country. And I could see the other countries when we're sitting at one of those meetings when all the world leaders get together, G6, G8, G55, or whatever. And future presidents, future American presidents, go to say something or, sit on that high heel, get on their soapbox. The rest of the country's world leaders are going to turn to them and look at them and be like, whoa, I know, we know you're not about to talk shit. What we just witnessed happen in America, we set an example. We set a precedent here that the world looked at and they shook their head because I'm pretty sure they're sitting thinking, big bad America. This is what y'all did when y'all had a chance to hold this man accountable. And then, y'all, before I get out of here, the last thing I want to say about this, that officer who was killed, you know, what did his family feel today? I know they had to feel that his death was for no reason, that his kids lost their father for no reason. What about the black officer who we now know was running through the White House saving folk that didn't even realize that how much he did, his commitment. And then all while he's doing that, he's being called the N word, uh, being physically threatened, and all of that. Think about all those people, the workers in that White House, the janitorial crew that had to clean up all that shit, all that destruction, blood on the ground, feces smeared on walls. Think about how they felt. Then think about the Capitol Police that fought for hours. Like I said, when I first went into this, I thought they rolled out the red carpet for them, opened the gates, and we saw that some of them did. But, you know, just as I said before, once you get the full picture and they put everything together and you saw more of what happened, you realize that those officers did fight, the vast majority of them. They were just outnumbered. Think about how they felt today. You know, they are there risking their lives, keeping that building safe, and the inhabitants of the building safe. The senators, the people in the building safe. And those very people that we watch those officers, make a human shield so they could run through them to get to safety. I literally watched these officers line the the halls on each side, and then those senators, their staff, their family members ran between them. They put their lives on the line for them. So what those senators did today was a smack in the face to them. Like basically telling all those officers, and so thank you, but my seat on the Senate means more than your life. A man lost his eye. He lost his fucking eye. Another one, three fucking fingers. People had heart attacks, committed suicide, and this is how you thank them. And I believe that that's why Schumer, that's on the Democratic side, Schumer wanted to recognize those officers. Basically, he knew what was coming with the Republicans, that they were going to let that fool law. And he said, okay, you know what? Before we get to that, let me just stop, take a moment, and let's recognize these officers for their bravery. Let's give them medals for the sacrifices that they made on January 6th, because he knew that the Republicans were about to turn right around and let Trump off, the very reason all this shit happened. Y'all, I'm just done. I'm done. Like I said, I knew it was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen. But when it actually did, you're like, damn. Then to watch Mitch McConnell trying to do damage control for his donors, because you know that they have donors that are on the side. Let me just rephrase that. Republicans have some donors that after they saw everything put together like we did, they're like, I can't support nobody who's down for this bullshit, who vote to acquit him. I don't feel comfortable giving my money to them, and they're down for this shit. So that little speech that he did after everything was over, saying, yeah, Trump was wrong, I agree with the Democrat, that was for his donors, to appease them. Because at the end of the day, it was more about him holding on to power and also still being able to kiss Donald Trump's ass and worship at the feet of Donald Trump and kiss the ring. and all of that. It's some bullshit, y'all. This is some bullshit. But you know what? This is America. It was built on some bullshit. Slavery. You know, like I said, who are we to be pointing our fingers at anybody? Well, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for allowing me to rant. If you want to put your opinion down in the comment section of what you thought of everything, like I said, we all knew what it was going to be. We knew. So we're not that shocked. We just we're not shocked. We're disgusted. That's what it is, right? We're not shocked. We're disgusted. And with that, y'all stay safe. As always, thanks for watching my video, and you guys stay safe. Bye bye now.